All right, so thanks again for doing this. First question I have for you is how did you get started in counseling? What was that journey like?
It was a very roundabout way of getting to counseling. I initially went to school for pre-med and then changed to chemical engineering. And after about 4 years of doing that, I failed out of college. I just failed. Fast forward about 13 years, and I went back to school here in Seattle and studied multicultural psychology was my major, and I completed my bachelor's then. And all the while in between, I was working a corporate job. I did sales and project and program management. And after finishing my bachelor's, I decided to volunteer at the King County Crisis Line, which is now called Crisis Connections. And in volunteering there for almost 5 years, I recognized that I really did want to go into counseling to kind of make that connection for folks from being in crisis and then after crisis, helping them go through the rest of the process to ensure that they, felt supported and would get better and hopefully minimize any future crises. So I went back to school and I got my master's, and here I am. I've been practicing now for 13 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Mhm.
So anyway, tell me a little bit about what you do as a counselor.
Sure. I'm licensed marriage and family is my Washington state license. I work now with adults primarily that struggle with anxiety and adults who are also working towards processing past trauma. I also do couples work, and I really enjoy working with couples where one person in the couple is neurodivergent. I find that work fascinating.
Yeah, that's pretty fascinating. I talked to another person who does a lot of neurodivergent kind of couples therapy. So yeah, I've heard about that
Mhm.
concept before. So what kinds of methods or approaches do you use in your work?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I would say that primarily I use a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy, helping my clients kind of challenge those stuck points that keep coming up, and figuring out ways to minimize those stuck points and figure out ways to maybe see certain situations, reframe certain situations in order to get over or not feel so stuck. I also like to use acceptance and commitment therapy because I find involving people's values in the counseling room can really assist folks in moving forward with committed action. If you feel stuck in a particular place and you recognize that that isn't serving you long term, if it's a values mismatch, it really helps to identify that and then figure out where you want to go from there. I think I also like to, specifically with couples, focus on emotions and ensuring that the couples are doing the work of expressing honestly what they're feeling between each other. And I think that's really important. I think it's really easy to talk to somebody and just tell them what they think instead of telling the other person what you're feeling. And with that being said, with couples, I also use the John and Julie Gottman's work to kind of help couples then figure out, okay, now what do we do next? We have this emotional connection. How do we ensure that it continues to grow?
hmm My next question is, what impact does your work have on the greater community? Like what have people said about, when they come into counseling and they do counseling for the first time and they try out with you, what do your clients, say about their experience?
Um, that's a good question as well. I think most of my clients would say that they feel seen by me and at some point in time understood, and that I've been able at points in our journey together to point out to them the things about them that they don't see, the wonderful qualities that maybe they're not able to see for themselves when they're in looking in the mirror. Um, and when my clients graduate, they tend to be thankful and they tend to then go off, hopefully, and be better citizens in the world. One of the ways that I give back to the community is by offering low cost and sliding scale therapy services through Open Path Collective. I feel that therapy is a wonderful thing for all people, and it oftentimes is out of reach due to insurance coverage or inability to access. And so through Open Path, I'm able to offer my services at a much more affordable price if you don't have commercial insurance.
Mm-hmm. My last question, it kind of wrapping this up, is how can counseling, create better outcomes for people? Because you say I've had this experience too, where like I've had gone to counseling and it's just not the right fit for me. It doesn't fit my set of values. It doesn't, it's not just me, but also other people might be in that position where they're like, I'm not really sure if I can connect with this therapist. I don't know if that person, like you said, is making me feel seen. So like what how does counseling, create that safe space where people can where they can sort of express their thoughts, feelings, emotions?
Yeah, that is crucial to find somebody if you're searching for a therapist to find somebody that you feel like you can connect with because healing and therapy, I believe, happens in relationship to each other. And if you can't see the therapist, if the therapist doesn't see you, it's not going to work. So one thing I highly recommend is that folks do research. Look at everybody's profile or their website and see if there's just one or two things that resonate internally with you. And then go ahead and, if you can, do a consultation call, 15 to 30 minutes. Get that person on the phone, get them on Zoom, look at them, talk to them, ask them all the questions you have so that you kind of have a better idea of what it might be like working with this person. And then the final thing is, and it's something that I tell all of my clients in the intake session, is I may not be the right fit for you. And that is really okay because therapy is about my clients. It's not about me. And if I'm not the right fit, that's fine. Just let me know so I can work with you to find the best fit for you. It's so important that people feel empowered within the therapy to choose and to choose what makes the most sense for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true.